We pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The Select Board Rules of Procedure are adopted annually to ensure a productive meeting. The Select Board meetings are in the public, not of the public, meaning that the members of the public in attendance are entitled to the opportunity to comment, but the purpose of the meeting is for the board to be able to effectively and efficiently conduct the necessary business to govern the town. All questions and comments are to be directed to the chair, and the rules of procedure indicate that there will be 2 minutes allotted for comment from any single person on any single topic. The rules of procedure are posted in the town hall and available for everyone to review.
Okay, well, welcome everybody. Thanks for coming. These are our select board members. We have Bob, Mike, Jessica, Tom, and Rich, and I'm Kristen. And this is our microphone for the meeting. So if anybody's to talk tonight at the meeting, you just have to use this microphone to talk into. You won't hear yourself through it, but we use it to be able to be heard online. So a couple of additions. We have Gib here tonight, who's requested to be on the agenda. I'm imagining that we also have Gib and Friends under pre-requested, and then an update on the Municipal Energy Resilient Program grant under old business. And there have been a couple other items that have been brought up to me through email and just general people bringing to our attention about roads stuff that can all be talked about during the highway report. And I think that's it. I do want to propose that we add something to the agenda for grant updates now that our grant administrator and treasurer, it's all happening in the same office, but I thought that might be of benefit to do like a grant update item on the agenda, just so that it has its own place. But that's something that we can talk about later.
Yes, I agree with that.
Other than that, the minutes that need approval from our last meeting are June 9th. Move that we approve those minutes.
Second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
All right.
Gib?
My daughter Deb Winpenny received a letter from the Select Board requesting that the basketball hoop be removed from the library parking area. And I kind of object, and I know that we were wrong. Last year I was with a hip replacement and didn't get to do it, and it didn't happen to get it pushed off for snow plowing. But I don't know why this letter came about, but I do know that these kids use that basketball hoop and they play in that area, since there is no playground in this community for these kids. And I don't see the reason of that basketball hoop being removed.
Well, one of the issues was that the parking, it does obstruct parking when they have events at the library.
Mike, that's not a big enough obstruction to obstruct parking.
Could we move that onto the grassy portion so that the kids could still play on the blacktop? Cars could still park on the blacktop, but the
We
hoop
thought
was
about
on-
that, and I guess we probably
That
could
could
do
be a
that,
compromise.
But for Deb to get a letter on that and nobody told her it's just to remove it, and that it was a problem with snow removal. Snow removal has not been the issue, and I don't know who complained that snow removal was a problem, because Deanna, my daughter, and Matt Levite do the plowing around there, and they've not said anything about being an obstruction. That's all I got. Anybody want to say anything?
Go ahead.
I just know, like, most of the kids in this community, we don't have many, but we all play in that basketball hoop, and it's welcome to anyone. And I know whenever I have friends over, that's like the second or first thing that we do. And I just know having to take that away or even just put on the glass would be hard for us. But I just know all of us love to play on that. And in the winter, we all do basketball season. Well, well, during basketball season, we all usually sign up, and that's during the summer is what helps us get ready for basketball.
Thank you. How does the rest of the board feel? If they have any comments or suggestions?
I mean, I would, there's that whole driveway thing by the side of the library that is technically just a right-of-way and no one uses it.
If we could adjust the position.
No, it wouldn't
I'm
fit
sorry.
there?
Mike, I don't think you can do that because the owner of that property where that right-of-way is.
Right. We're not gonna put it in the right of way, but if you put it, everybody needs to speak to the microphone, otherwise it doesn't get recorded into PEG TV. That's the biggest reason, so.
Okay, well, I know the owner of that right-of-way, and he's not very receptive to much.
Right,
Okay.
right, but that needs to, that right of way, I understand. But is there a spot on, that we could compromise and like have the hoop set right on the grass at the edge of the blacktop? So that in the event that anything was going on, that there was ample parking and being still all on the blacktop for them to play on and bounce. Julie?
I think, I just want to recall for everyone to remember, one of the issues is all of the work that's being done here this summer. There's painting, there's well drilling, there's going to just be a lot of activity. That means we need wide open spaces for the summer. My recollection is that that was the impetus for this letter, and so I think I want to right away commend all of the beautiful students that have come to speak on behalf of this, because it is important for kids to have spaces that they can play in, and I think that we should consider that. But I think that ultimately you need to consider the access that you require for this summer, and maybe we can work together on a compromise for something for later, but you need access over there this summer, full stop, for the MERP project to continue. I can't see any other way around that.
So if the basketball hoop was not on the blacktop itself, but on the edge of the blacktop, it could be a compromise that they could still get back and forth, and the kids could still play on the blacktop.
And what about for next year? I mean, after all that work is done, what if we, I mean, it's a town road, right? We can do what we want with it. What if we painted some little no parking spot, and that no parking spot then was where we put the basketball hoop?
Or at least after when the work was being completed.
Yeah.
At the end of the MERP project this summer, we could establish a location that the basketball hoop would not interfere with parking, and they would still be able to play at in all the hours that there's not activity at the library. Deb?
While we're talking about areas of no parking, I wondered if the bottom of my driveway, when people park there, it's really hard to access in and out. Like really hard to make that turn and get into my driveway. I wondered if that could be across the street on the curb, no parking.
Okay. I think we haven't done anything to paint lines or anything on that in a while, so that could be something addressed when we do that. Frank?
There's going to be, with the well drilling, a considerable amount of landscaping to get those trucks up there to do that, which may leave some flat ground.
Exactly.
And that could be asphalted over and put the basketball court right there and basically have its own little space as well, for not much money, I'll bet.
So we've come up with a lot of possible compromises that I think that moving forward we should be able to make everyone satisfied. And one of the things we probably do need to check with is our insurance company to make sure that if kids are playing basketball on our property, that the insurance company knows and they're okay with that, because it's not designated as a playground.
I'm okay with moving the basketball hoop, but I see, the library has activities there all the time, and maybe because it's a library activity, it's not a compromise for the insurance, but if you have to check with the insurance, we'll figure something else out, and the kids will have to find another place to play.
Well, I'm not saying not, but I'm saying that it's in our best interest to just make sure that we are fully covered in an event like that. But I'm sure that we can come up with a compromise.
It might be interesting to see if other...
Can you use the mic, please, Sherry?
It might be interesting to see if other libraries have basketball courts.
Thank you. So there's a few things that have come up, and maybe we can get together and find a suitable spot where everybody can, compromise can be reached, and move forward from there, and we'll keep in touch regarding this issue. Does anybody else have anything to offer tonight?
I just think it's great. I mean, we want them to be able to play throughout the summer.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to dig up the asphalt to go drill the well, I'm assuming, right? I'm not sure
They're going to
where
be up on the bank there more,
but they're not going to be pulling the curb out or
not,
anything like that.
well, we haven't totally understand that, but I don't believe they will be down this far. Of course, they'll have to be going up in that property
Yeah,
line.
I think they're gonna be drilling, I think they might be drilling the asphalt in the right of way. But I don't think it's gonna extend
Past.
out much into the street.
Yeah, I would think, I mean, those basketball hoops, they even make those little things you attach to the net that'll kick the ball back out into the road. If you set the thing back, I haven't looked at it, but I'm sure if you had to set it back a couple feet, you could just put one of those things on the net, so every time the ball goes through the net, it just kicks it right back. So it doesn't land on the curb or grass.
Yeah.
And I haven't measured it, but I would say it's 3 feet. It is not more than one car. There have been cars parked there over the winter, and it really is a community builder. I mean, we leave our basketballs out. People that get food around here and sit on the green, they use it. I mean, I heard one of the reasons that I got the letters that people didn't think it's used. It's used almost daily, and it really is a community builder.
Thank you.
Thank you for hearing us.
Thank you for coming in tonight and expressing it.
I just wanted to ask too, just to make sure that before we all leave, that we're clear on what the, like for today, what the plan is, like if the board is asking that it get moved back and then after the project. I just want to make sure that we all make sure we're clear, because it's been a good conversation.
Right.
I'm Mike. I live right down the road in the River House. I've also coached some of these kids at Meadowee on the basketball team. I think having a hoop up anywhere is great. So as we can preserve that, insurance companies, everybody else aside, I mean, I think it's very important. So we live on the street. I coach these kids.
Thank
it's
you.
important.
Julie?
I know you want to wrap this up, and I think that I'm understanding that this is a problem, this is a decision that's going to be made for another night with some thinking, the understanding that it needs to be moved temporarily
Yeah.
at least, and then we'll figure things out in the end. But before everyone leaves, I think it's really important to take the time to commend these kids. These are all kids that are young members of our community. A lot of the Meadowee community school kids are dealing with a tragedy that happened recently. And this is a big freaking deal that they're here speaking to us, and I just would like to honor that as a member of the community and someone who values the kids in our community. I would think that we would all want to honor that.
They're being great citizens.
Yes, thank
Let's
you
give
all.
them a hand. Yay!
I just would like to know if we can, in the meantime, while you're waiting, can that hoop stay so these kids can still play rather than take it down and wait
Yes,
for
until we come up with a solution, leave it where it is, as far as I'm concerned.
No, I would
The rest
agree
of the
with
board,
that.
all right with that?
All right,
Thank you.
thank you. All right, guys.
Frank? Thank you all for coming tonight and expressing your,
Appreciate it.
The MERP working group has a few meetings coming up in the near time, and we're looking at the plotting of where the wells and all that's going to be. We might be able to look at it, and with that sighting in mind.
The next meeting is next week, the 30th.
Right.
And they will have the final location of the wells at that time.
Right, and we'll,
So if we need to look at where those are going to be, we'll have that information at the next select board meeting.
and we might be able to know what the site looks like after they're done with it to see if there would be room to do anything there.
We can ask them that.
Yeah.
thank you. Any announcements? Anything from the zoning administrator?
I don't believe so.
Planning commission? They had a meeting last night, a small meeting
I
regarding,
haven't seen anything.
okay, so they're,
The-
yeah, I don't suspect there's
All the planning commission is
road
doing is,
foreman's report.
We spent the last day and a half cleaning up roadsides from the storm.
Mhm.
Well, like 7 loads of trees.
Okay.
We started ditching on Rupert Mountain Road up toward Rupert line. The ditch is higher in the road, so we had quite a bit of washout on the side of the road, so we're getting that squared away. Townsley Road needs little repair, and there's a little damage on Herrick Brook, and I think that's it. So I'm kind of holding off on mowing. I know mowing's important too, but I don't want to lose the roads. You know, I wanna-
Okay. So you're gonna focus on those road repairs and then appropriate ditching and then go back to mowing,
Yes.
et cetera? Okay.
Also, we talked a little bit about hiring a contractor to help haul material.
Uh-huh.
Is that still on the table for talk, or?
Well, I know, we have had part-time help before. Do you think that's an option? We could get a part-time driver possibly?
So I'd reached out to one that we spoke of,
Yeah,
and that wasn't going to work out. But I think that we do have time. If you're looking, is this for winter sand, or is this for crushed gravel that you need for the roads now? Sure pack. So it's material that you need right now for the repair in the road or the washouts. That's the question. We're going to have to get together with Julie and see what's available in the budget. And I guess we can go from there. I think that would be the thing to do. Is find out if we have some money to hire a contractor to do some hauling.
to haul material for us.
Right.
It might work out because we could hire somebody that'll haul considerable more than we can haul and low too, right? So, okay. All right, so that's something that we'll work on and see if we can come up with an option. We'll talk it over with Julie and see what we have for. Julie, that would probably come under contracted services, or? Okay, so we can get together, maybe you and I could talk tomorrow and see where we stand with that. Okay.
And also about getting somebody a grant for tree removal, the old dead trees on the side of the roads.
We tried that once, and so many people applied for that grant that we didn't qualify. Do you know of any that are out there now?
Nothing
Julie?
new has come up.
Nothing has showed up, so we're going to have to
We
see
do
what.
have some money in the budget for that.
We've been trying to. We know that a lot of this is not something that our crew was is capable or even can safely do, so we need to hire outside help. So maybe if you could bring us a list that you could identify some of the most important ones, and we could maybe get a quote from a couple local contractors and see where we go from there.
And also, I'm supposed to go to a meeting tomorrow at noon to 2 with Ethan. Material use for the winter, letting salt down. Try to use less material.
So that'll be good. Is that everyone in the county basically, or?
Yeah, all the road forms are invited.
Okay. Good. And anything else from you?
We do.
There's more on the.
Right, there's more on. I just want to make sure that he's had all he wanted to and report before we move to the next.
I think that's it.
Okay.
The first thing that I had was, so there was, just needs to be clarified, so the overtime in the personnel policy, and I might, Julie, feel free to correct me, but in our personnel policy states that overtime is not permitted in the summer months for the highway department. So what that would mean is that either the policy just needs to be revisited, or my initial thought was just that when you guys are feeling like you need overtime to just meet, run that by the liaisons or come to the board meeting and make sure, see what's available in the budget and just make sure that it's addressed, just because as we're trying to go through and revamp our policies, it's not that it's a hard no, it's just that we're trying to adhere to and acknowledge what we have spelled out. So just that was why I put that on the agenda, because I know Julie's been highlighting those hours in payroll reports and whatnot, and that's why. So it just needs to be, the board just needs to decide how to handle that.
So a couple of the things we're running into is sometimes in the summer, in previous times, they would take comp time, and you're familiar with that and stuff like that. Okay. So sometimes the road crew would just take the comp time instead of the overtime, which kept our budget more in track, and go from there. But one of the other issues we're dealing with right now is 2 men out of a normal 3-man crew, so the amount of work that we need to accomplish. The only time we really could authorize the overtime, and the best procedure to do that would be for you to come to the board with a list of, like, if we could work this Friday to do this job specific to, and explain how that brings the value to us. That's the best course of action, so that it can all be pre-approved. Understandable when you have an emergency situation like broke down trees or whatever, it has to happen, and we go with that. But these are just some things that we have to figure out the intricacy of how to make everything work and still keep it within our budgetary numbers, because once that pot runs out, then it's like there's no more. So I think we got a good understanding about how we can come with that, and see if we keep close contact with the budgeted amount to make sure that we can pull everything off and from there. So okay, anybody have any more questions about the overtime policy?
No.
Okay. Street sweeping. Last meeting,
My understanding was that Judy and Bud inquired about street sweeping. We're wondering, said that had been something that had been done in the past. Julie,
you have a comment on that?
I will say when I first started that we did, I do remember, like, Kingsbury Street Sweepers is a vendor that we have. I don't know why we don't have a street sweeper,
right,
but it's something to look into. But you also had at the very last meeting a complaint from somebody in West Pawlet about the streets. and the around the monument. And I do believe that that was specifically regarding road debris. If you park in this first parking spot out here, you should be prepared to peel out on a gravel driveway leaving, because it is not blacktop anymore. It really does need to be done.
I'm parked right there right now. I would be careful.
Report
peeling
back.
No peeling out the stones.
So I do remember that quite a few years ago, we hired somebody that came in and they would sweep West Pawlet Village and
The intersection.
In the intersection.
Pawlet.
I
That was
think.
when-
Go ahead.
That was when we used sand on the blacktop. Now we use salt. That's why we haven't been using it. But then this past year, we ran out of salt, so we used sand. So there is a little excess.
right.
Do you remember
Sand.
how often we got it done back then? So
Well,
you remember?
Just
When we sanded yearly, we would sweep yearly.
Okay.
So this year, and that's exactly why it's more prevalent this year than it has been in the past, because typically we use straight salt on the blacktop, which leaves nothing to clean up in the spring, which is great.
And if we were to street sweep, we'd have to notify everybody of the day, right? So they could move their cars?
Yeah,
Yeah. I used to live on a street where it was like, you can't park here the Tuesday of whatever, because it's street sweeping.
yeah.
And everybody moves their car.
So, but that would be a one-shot deal, and quite often, a lot of times they'd even come in on the weekend or something and do it, but.
They did the school as well at the same time. But a lot of the washouts, we would never call a sweeper in for the runoff. You know, these heavy rains that are bringing debris out onto the roads, we would just scrape them off. Or
Right. One of the things I noticed that there's a couple spots, Nelson Terrace ran a lot of dirt on the road, and the house next door, their blacktop driveway, ran a lot of dirt onto the road there. So I don't know, do we have a power broom or not?
We do. Right now it needs to be repaired. We rebuilt it last year when James was here. I'm gonna see if I can get blue bearings for it.
Okay.
How does that work, the power broom? I mean,
It pulls down to it.
it doesn't pick it up.
so bad.
It just sweeps it out of the way, right? So
Yeah, in that case, you'd try and sweep it.
you might be able to get it to the side of the road, but we're not gonna, to like an intersection or something like that, we could clear it out of the main road, but we're still not getting it off the road.
It's not picking it up.
Where a street sweeper's gonna pick it up and dispose of it
Do you
somewhere
think
else.
we could get a quote for sweep-
on the lawn.
That's
Right.
what would happen.
That's what would happen with a broom.
With just a
Yes.
broom.
That would be a bad.
Just remember the
It'd be rough on your lawnmower knives. That's for sure.
Or windows nearby.
then people would just be powering it out back out to the street.
Put
Do
in
you
a,
think we could get a quote for the street sweeping, so if we haven't done it for
I
years?
think that would probably
So
be
we
the
would know
next.
how much it would be, both for like Pawlet Village and for West Pawlet
Right.
Village? And then we can see what's in the budget and if we
Right.
could do it, because it would be nice if we could do it before some of the summer festivities.
And it's important because a lot of that runoff goes right down into the meadowwood.
Okay, we have to, one, remember to be acknowledged for the chair speak, and then two, the other talking stick. So
Okay.
if you do one, I'll give you two. Thank you, Julie.
Yes, go ahead.
Along with all this runoff and all the rain, the path is directly into the meadowy. And at one point, there was some kind of a grant, I forget what division, but there was a grant for towns for repairing drainage where it run into the rivers. And I didn't know if there's a possibility of looking. Because you can see, it comes down the street, hits our driveways, and then goes right into the river.
Okay. Julie, can you send Jim the information to reach out to that Kingsbury Suite? Kingsbury's
Street sweepers.
sweeping, right?
I might have
Okay.
I might have a card in my desk. I'll have to
Okay.
go through all my cards. I might have a card
So-
there.
Julie will have the contact information if you can't easily locate it, and then we could see them, especially since they're familiar with it, they may be able to give us a quote in short order. Speed concerns.
Okay, So Judy Lake sent an email. I forwarded it to everybody. I was just checking email at like 5-ish. So a concern about speed. Had something that many of us have had, a near miss pulling out of School Street, and then it prompts the desire to try to make a change with the speed in School Street. I've been there. I think probably many of us have. I know Julie had that in her memo talking about that, but I just wanted to make sure that everybody was aware of that. I am not looking for a big solution or anything right now, but I wanted to make sure you all heard about it, and I did respond and let her know that the Planning Commission is working on things. I saw Julie's email that there's discussion to be had about speed signs, but ultimately her request was to try to pursue getting the radar sign put up on Route 30, which is that permit process, which I believe is part of all the conversations. So I told Judy I'd bring that up.
Sherry?
We here on School Street, we're concerned about the current electronic speed sign isn't really working because, first of all, I think for people coming this way, they don't see it till they're already there. Not like they don't know, but you know, they come flying down the street and they don't really slow down. And then by then they're over the bridge and they're going up the road. So maybe it does, but when they're coming the other way, they don't even see the sign. So there was a suggestion that it could be put down sort of on that abandoned house so that people would see it right away. That might be helpful. And maybe I was thinking too, like once you come over the bridge, just a little regular sign that says speed limit, whatever it is, make it 15. I don't know, but it would be nice to have something that really works because it's not working. That's, yeah. Do you want to add anything?
No, I think you said it. I think right after the bridge is a great idea.
That's nice.
Frank?
I spoke with Judy Lake, and she says was quite shaken by almost literally she felt being killed. That's what led to this elevated intention. She said she backtracked through powers that be, and no matter what we've heard, she said apparently all you need to do is get a permit from the state to put the lighted sign, speed limit sign, out on Route 30, and that we should submit that permit, and if we can't get the permit, then we keep pushing for the permit to put the speed sign out there or where else we need it, because that lighting shows up and it catches people's eyes. There was some illusion that Judy said that somebody said to the state that there's no proof that that actually works, where we all know it does work. You see it pulling in the doors or whatever, so you slow down. So along stop signs of interest, just you go up to any one of the signs that have the lighted flashing around the stop or a light just at the top catches your attention and people stop more than they would otherwise.
We'll look in to see what we can do about signage and et cetera, and see if we can move it. We can't just put that sign anywhere because we can't just plop it on somebody's house, even if it's an abandoned house. It's still personal property. We just can't land that sign in.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, Mike.
We'll look into it and see what we can we can determine and.
Okay.
And
in response to that, I just wanted to say that it is plopped on Mary Ellen's property. So.
How was that decision made? How was that decision made?
I assume that somebody had reached out, but apparently not. So if you want it moved.
In the past, when we moved the signs around a bunch, and generally, I mean, the road crew has spoken to the person whose house it is. But if it didn't happen this time, it didn't happen this time, and that's unfortunate.
Yes.
But they can be moved. I mean, and the idea when we got them was to move them frequently, because you know, if you see the same sign in the same place all the time, people start ignoring it. And then when it moves, then they see it.
Hey, Mike. I just wanted to add one other brief thing. So, not to take away at all from the intensity of Judy's experience, because I know that is
Other people
scary. I've been there. It's very scary. But just to respond, so the town does know about the permits and the processes, and as everybody, we've all been through a lot of these conversations. It's definitely something that has been on the board's radar, and we've been trying to make, and we've been pushing and trying, and even though it's kind of not always happening here in these meetings where it's broadcasted, it is definitely something that we're continuing. The Planning Commission currently is making persistent strides towards it, and I think once we get to Julie, we'll have more. But I did just want to acknowledge that.
Has anybody else got anything for the road crew tonight?
I do, on that same topic, if I can talk.
Go ahead.
No. What do you mean? We're talking about School Street later, we're not. The same thing?
Yep.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I have a whole section on School Street and on transportation studies. I think that this conversation would be best delayed until that point of the meeting. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to speak to Jim in regards to Jennifer Sullivan. I don't know if you saw the email
Yeah, I
with
saw
her
that.
culvert.
It just.
I didn't look at all the pictures though, because they wouldn't all load for me. Good. I was on the internet.
Yeah, I mean, the rainstorms that we've been getting have just been, gully washers. So do you know which culvert we're referring to?
Yes.
It appears to be plugged in the video, so we're going to have to inspect it and make sure that it's not plugged. And then we're going to have to run heavier stone up along the edge of the road because that 3/4 stone is not holding.
Yeah, James put shear packs down.
Which is fine unless we get 3 inches of rain in
Right.
2 hours.
I got 3/4 inch stone in West Pawlet. I could put that down there. Or I could go get a load of 3 inch.
No, that would be a little too much. 1.5 or 2 inch, I think, would be plenty. That would just keep it from, digging it right out and taking it to the culvert. That stuff washed out like soup.
Yeah. I saw the pictures and
Yeah.
I responded and I told her that I'd be over as soon as I could to take care of it.
Yeah, I think 1.5 or 2 inch clean crushed.
Yep. I'll send Ken in the morning.
It's not going to take much, a loader bucket maybe.
Right. Okay.
Okay. All right, so we're pretty well set with the road.
Yes.
Town clerk's memo, Deb?
Oh, what about the assessors? Didn't we get a bunch of stuff from the
Oh, I did.
assessors?
Hey there.
Oh,
I'm sorry, I
I don't know
dealt.
what's in my memo. You already addressed Judy Lake's concern. Apparently, she reached out to all of us. Judy Coolidge had, in preparation for the digging that's going to be happening at the library, she was concerned about a marker that was placed in memory of Kenny and Esta. So she went over there and she did find it, and it's at the base of a tree. So it doesn't appear that it will interfere or be in the way of anything that is happening on the lawn over there. There's a couple of A&R notices that is at Kristen's table, and Tom, I gave you the write-ups on the boilers. The furnaces over at the library, they will not fill them until those things on those notices are addressed. And I think that's all I had on my memo.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions for Deb tonight? I guess not. Thank you for joining us, Deb. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. Have a good night, everybody.
Thanks, you too.
What do we got for issues on there?
I haven't read them.
Okay. Well, I'm sure you can get a hold of Dave.
It says bottom of the tank is damp.
Bottom of the tank is damp?
Yep, that's what it says for both of them.
Oh, boy.
Yep.
Was wet, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Town treasurer.
All right, I have two warrants this week. Payroll is 10/5/77/49. That's 6 hours of overtime for each guy. Accounts payable is 54/265/25. General fund monies is 34/680/48. Highway fund monies is 23/495/19. Wastewater is 66/67/07. I'm going to hit a pause right here, and I'll just let you know it's June 23rd, so there will trickle in this year invoices as they come, but pretty much we're at the end of our fiscal year. So when you're talking about budgets, I think we need to sit down and do some real projections to figure out how much actual like space we have in budgets. Because if you just ask me how much you have in budgets, you have a lot, right? But we need to make that last for the year. So that might be more of a long conversation, and maybe somebody would want to work with me on figuring that out before we engage in that discussion. Continuing on, actually, I don't know, do you want to pause and just approve the warrants now?
Sounds like a good idea.
Sure, I'll move that we approve payroll warrant 26074 and accounts payable warrant 26075.
I'll second that.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. All right.
Thank you.
Let's sign them.
While you're signing us, the next thing on my memo is the discussion on the speed study / traffic studies. So my recollection of how this all came about was the Planning Commission sent a letter to the Vermont Department of Transportation asking for speed limit reductions in certain parts of town. The Agency of Transportation responded back that they are going to be doing a speed study on the intersection at Route 30 sometime this summer. The other piece of roadway that we had talked about was 153 in front of the school. That is a town-maintained piece of roadway, so we are responsible for doing our own speed studies. The Rutland Regional Planning Commission, as part of their membership dues, provide us services that include transportation and speed studies. However, they are saying if we come all the way down to Pawlet, the lowest county in Rutland, from Rutland, etc., we want to do maximum work for you. So if you have more than one piece of roadway, we would like to come down and do more than one road study at a time. So we had talked about 153 in front of the school, which needs a speed study. In my meeting with Ethan, had mentioned the school street. I said, I don't know if a speed study is the most appropriate study for this road or if it's a general study of the intersection, because that intersection is really, really dangerous. It's getting more and more dangerous. I'm actually a little bit disappointed in how things have gone regarding that intersection with this board. And I think that you should actually investigate the liability that you would face if something happens there, given the number of complaints that have come up about that intersection and the fact that absolutely nothing has been done on behalf of this board to actually take concrete action on that. Ethan that day had a close call in getting to me to have an interview or to have a meeting here. So he was very well aware of the dangerousness of that intersection. I also want to highlight that across from the store, there's that little pull-out, the no parking pull-out. And at the request of the owner of the store, those concrete barriers were placed to keep people from parking there. But the purpose of that is to give people a place to ditch it when oncoming traffic is coming. So we've made everything more dangerous, not less dangerous, by permanently blocking off the ability of cars to get out of the way of oncoming traffic. So I think those need to immediately be moved. But I also think that we should engage in a study on at least that intersection and perhaps speed all the way down through here. I think that's a conversation for you to have. I also highlighted the Danby Pawlet Road intersection.
Where it intersects 133?
Yes, and because it's a town road on the Danby Pawlet side, we might have some control of where that intersection comes in, the angle that it comes in at, and if we can close down the part of the road that makes it look like it's a straight shot, that might make that intersection more safe, and our RPC would be able to do the work on that intersection.
Also, on that intersection, when you're coming from the Rutland direction and you're going to make the curve, if you want to turn left onto Danby Pawlet Road, it's not clear which of those two roads you should turn left on. I mean, yeah.
So I guess the three things on here for you to make a decision on are, do you want RPC to come down and do a speed study on 153 by the school? Do you want a study of this intersection and the Danby Pawlet Road intersection? And do you have any other segments? The fourth thing is, do you have any other segments of road in this town that you want a speed study done on?
Those seem to be the most common complaint areas. The West Pawlet intersection speed isn't the biggest factor. It's a confusion of the monument in the middle of the road there.
It's $0 for them to come down and do a study. So if you want them to include 153 where the monument is, that's reasonable. I
think that would be worthwhile.
Yeah, let's do that too. So is the board all in favor of those 4 areas that we just talked about, having Rutland Regional do speed studies on those 4 areas?
I am. I do have some questions though. Now here on School Street, we have a police force. Have they been spending any time down here helping? Has anyone talked to any of the police officers that live on this as residents on this street to advise them that you are concerned about the speed going by? I mean, I think we have resources that are currently not being utilized that could help all residents on this street if you feel that there's a dangerous spot here, because I know when their presence show up, it really changes the attitude of the drivers and aggressiveness. And I think they've done a good job in being fair. So
they also did get a grant to do more
traffic study and control and education.
Amy Miller.
Amy?
In the last few days, I work from home a lot, so the last few days I've been also sitting outside, and I can hear sirens, so they're pulling over people right on 30. I don't see them down our road as much, but I definitely have Tom Covino in my phone and text him. The one day, I'm okay with putting that speed thing in front of my house. There was one day where little Regan, who spoke today, her and I were washing my car in front of my house, and a car was going, I'm not kidding, there was a chase going about 100 miles an hour. And then after that, her and I walked down to Max, and the guys were joking about how they did get it to 100 just from Max to the library. So that's more my area of concern. A lot of cars, when I'm walking my dog, a lot of cars turn around to the library. They do it like a U-turn right there, and they swing back up. They're not going all the way down to the bridge unless they live down there. There's not a real reason to keep going down our road. The real area is from Max down to the library.
Thank you.
So, can I follow up on Tom's question? So it seems like, so Tom's aware, so maybe asking, seems like maybe a request would be to ask Tom Covino to just make his presence a little bit more, spend a little bit more time if possible down patrolling here, because from just what I'm hearing as an observer and a listener, a lot of it is sort of more enforcement than anything else, because it's certain people, signs will not deter them from behaviors. So yeah, so I think maybe asking, would that come from the board to ask if Tom could be more present in the village at his, if he's able, when he's able?
How does the board feel about that? If we have to consensus of the board to ask Tom if he could spend a little bit more time in here?
I mean, not necessarily to like park it, but when he's
Just-
in the village to add this to his loop.
Right.
Be aware that people are using this as a speeding
Yeah,
corridor.
That is his profession. I think he'll figure it out what's the best way as long as
Sure.
we ask him.
Yep.
I would encourage it, yes.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Could you send him a message, Christian, or something?
Yes.
That would be good.
Chair, to follow up with her statement about moving the sign to her yard, I think that would be a great, you got permission of a land owner that's before the school, where majority of the traffic is gonna utilize before they do the UE. You know, is that something that we can ask be moved? And make sure that the batteries are up to date and be,
Okay.
thank you.
Julie, you got the microphone first.
So you had, I acknowledge that we had agreed on those specific intersections that I mentioned and the Route 153 monument. But I just wanted to be clear, speed is being studied at 153 in front of the school.
Uh-huh.
A traffic study will be done at the other places. So
Okay.
that way, they will not be sitting there counting cars and how fast they're going. They will be evaluating the flow of traffic, the behavior patterns of cars, what makes sense, like for the average person traveling through. Those are the types of studies that I was discussing around the monument on 153, School Street intersection here, and the Danby Pawlet Road intersection. So I just
Okay.
wanted to be clear.
I got confused. I thought we were talking about speed studies for all of them, but that makes even better
Yeah,
sense.
that does.
Thank you.
Do we need that in a form of motion and approval?
It would be nice if they sat somewhat inconspicuously or out of sight instead of sitting right at the intersection with a state vehicle with a yellow light turning on top, because everybody's gonna slow down, everybody's gonna come to a complete stop and maneuver. They're not gonna actually see all the cluster of people that don't use the intersection properly.
So again, the ones that I was just talking about are going to be conducted by RRPC, so they're not going to be state vehicles. They're going to be inconspicuous, highly likely Subarus.
Civilian vehicles.
And then the other thing, there will be a traffic study conducted by the state on Route 30
Okay.
at this intersection. So I would recommend actually not moving the speed sign to anywhere near Route 30 at any point before that speed study is completed, because that will give us the nastiest information that we possibly can get on it, and quite frankly, that's our goal.
Tom, you want to make that motion to have those four
I'll make a motion that the 4 studies, the one for speed and the other 2 for traffic, the other 3 for traffic by RRP, it would be a motion that I'd like to move forward,
Okay.
yes.
Do you have a second?
I'll second that.
Any more discussion? Frank, make it quick.
The 153 one you're talking with, the monument, is in West Pollock, correct?
Frank, this is about a study.
Right. They have already approved that.
Frank,
and
this is different.
They can think
All in
of,
favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. That was just a plan. This is facts. That was just an idea. I understand that they went through it and they came up with all these great ideas for the monument, but this is an actual plan from Rutland County, not just an idea. Thank you for bringing it up.
Mike, I do have one other question.
Yes.
That just popped in my head. One of the meetings, Annie Nash had come in and she was working with Chris Pritchard. And they were speaking of this same stretch of highway as well as 133 and the Danby Road. That's state, not Rutland. Is that what the deal is? Are they doing a study? So they're going to do 2 studies?
I think the issue with the Danby Pawlet Road was more around signage on the intersection. And the issue with that is there's state and then town. And the real issue is people blowing through on the town side. So the state kind of was like, that's your problem. 153 is also our problem because it's town maintained. The only football that the state claimed and was willing to pick up is the Route 30 intersection.
Okay, so that's already been determined.
They have not done the study. They are saying we will come and do a study on the part that's our problem.
Right.
Everything else is your problem. You
Right.
deal with it.
And they're not even, it seems like one of those emails said they're not even sure if they're gonna get to it this year or not.
I think that they had it on the agenda for this summer.
Okay.
And Ethan from RRPC has
Yeah.
said, as soon as the study is done, we will be informed. They will hold a hearing. At the hearing, people from town can testify. Select board can have a letter or something to that effect, any evidence that we want to present. And RRPC is willing to come and speak on our behalf. Because a lot of time, what Ethan said was a lot of times they have found that they'll do a study and they'll just, based on whatever the nature of the metrics that they have set in that study is all they study. They'll make a determination. They'll say, no, we're not reducing your speed limit in town. They'll hold a hearing. People will come and they'll point out other things. What RRPC is willing to do is come and point out sight lines where you're coming in and out of intersections. Talk about pedestrian activities.
Right.
Talk about all of the other factors, how busy the market is right there. Like all of those other factors, they are willing to essentially come and provide testimony on our behalf. And they have found that that often works.
Yeah, that brings a little bit more gusto to it. Okay,
So Chair.
thank you. Anybody else have, Tom?
So, did the procedure that Annie and Chris did together, that's where we're at with that? Okay, thank you.
I have one thing also, kind of, which is related to that intersection. Do we, as a town, can our constable ticket people who are parked on Highway 30 or not? Because people keep parking in that spot when you're gonna make a right. One day there was this giant truck parked there and I couldn't see past it in that clearly marked no parking spot.
A little pull-up?
Yeah, the little pull-off. There've been vehicles there several times
I
recently.
believe you can, but if you write a ticket on a state road, we don't get to keep any of the money.
Right.
Okay.
I think
All right, okay.
that's how that
Yeah.
boils down to.
That was another thing I wanted to throw into this intersection is dangerous, is that people do keep parking there.
Okay.
All right, that's it for me.
Speed study, I guess we're done on the capital budget planning process.
Yes. Are you ready for that?
Sure.
I'm sorry, I'm taking up your entire meeting tonight. I'm not sorry. Sorry, hashtag not sorry. So this particular packet that you all have, I also sent it around to you, but this is the capital planning stuff that I sent. The first page with the yellow and orange on it is the timeline for what a capital plan might look like. So we are in June, and per this schedule, I wanted to have a discussion about the equipment replacement plan, which after that, after the two yellow and orange pages comes a blue page that is essentially a proposal for a draft of an equipment replacement plan. So if there are other items that you want to add on here or you want to move around things on here, then I would like to know that sooner than later so that this particular leg of the capital plan could get finalized. These all, I had sent you all in an email, I think last week or the week before, notes that I had taken. I think it was like an Excel spreadsheet that had what we had and the year and when we thought we would want to replace it. Those were all from, I sat down with Damon at one point before he left and said, can you help me with like what do we have for equipment and when do we want to replace it? And those were notes that I generated from that meeting with him. I think that those were the only people, like that was only run by him. So this is all like open to debate and discussion. I just wanted to let you know where I got those figures from. So I guess the rest of the packet, I think I would like you guys to keep and sort of look through because the next pages are more, the very next page is an asset form, so that's very relevant for the equipment stuff. But then after that, it's kind of like it gets a little more complicated, and some of it is highway and some of it is general fund. But really, for the purpose of tonight, what we want to talk about is the equipment replacement plan.
So right now, it doesn't show anything about the backhoe, which the latest discussion would be to get an excavator instead of a backhoe. And I think that from information Jim's already gathered, we're looking at least 200,000. And I think sooner than later, because the backhoe's pretty well wore out and not efficient to do what we need to do with it most of the time.
So I don't see the backhoe listed here.
It's not.
Okay.
I didn't see it listed.
Oh, it's listed on the second
asset,
page
but
here.
not in the
Yeah.
replacement side.
Oh, yeah, it does say under assets replaced with excavator. Yep.
Right.
So does Jim have a copy of the asset and fleet inventory form?
I have not shared this particular set of documents with Jim, but I think, he certainly has the depth of understanding of what we have.
Because my thought is he should be, reviewing this with us to like Mike picked up on the backhoe. But since it's been Damien a couple people ago, maybe the current person would be best to have that of what our current equipment is and if there's more out there. So we're looking at an accurate or best educated list up to date.
I mean, you can borrow my copy. Here.
Yeah, I can print another.
I can get copies. But,
here's the list.
Yep. But it's just that one sheet that I think that, by having Jim. Yeah. Because I think he's, that say and what we got in the bushes that we might not know, he's already found.
yeah, so if you look in the column, all the way to the right is comments, and the column to the left of that is year replacement needed.
Yep.
So it's not listed on here because it's more than 5 years out, according to the other notes. If you
Backhoe is here. It's listed here.
If you think that it is needing to go somewhere else, I think that you probably need to have a discussion about literally swapping something out of this list, because I don't think we are currently in a place where we are going to be adding a $200,000 piece of machinery.
But I would say that the $50,000 chipper could last a lot longer than that. So, but that's not $200,000. But the backhoe, even to 32, that backhoe's not going to last till 32 without costing us a great deal of money and time.
So the next thing we need to replace is definitely the 13 Mack truck.
Absolutely, that's turning into a money pit right now.
Because on here it was listed as 2627, which is now.
Were you able to look into a program with them swapping out trucks every 5, 7, or 9 years, something like that?
Yeah, they had a lease program, and he said he was going to email me. I gave him Julie's email as well, and he has an email.
Okay.
So and that was Craig with HET. So I'll check with him again. Trucks are more available than they were, so we're not going to have to order them
As early?
right 3 years ahead of time.
Well, maybe if we don't know about the lease yet, we can just plan it as if we're not going to lease, and then if it turns out that we can lease, we adjust the plan at that point.
But yeah, they had a guaranteed buyout.
But that's the problem we're running into right now. We're holding on to them so long they're useless.
They're worth nothing.
They're scrap metal when we're done. So we need to roll them over.
Yeah, this is the other page, yeah.
So it would cost us more to get in the program, but once we were in the program, it should balance out. If we were
Yeah,
trading them at 3 years.
the second part of this is funding, right? So if you're funding through budgeting, that's separate from sort of the capital plan. The capital plan is a investment strategy plan for you to think about the long-term turnover of assets in our community. So, for example, one of the questions that was asked to me was, what's the policy for the town when you buy a new piece of machinery? Do you bond it out? Do you get a loan? Do you pay for part of it? Do you get a loan for part of it? So I was able to convey to them that our past policy has been to take out a loan for the truck and to pay out of the equipment fund for the outfitting. So they know that and they have that put in. So it's kind of important to have somewhat accurate information that you're putting in about how you're purchasing your trucks too. So
We've never been even knew of an option to be able to roll them over as quickly and be able to retain a lot more value in our trucks, because we've ran them for so long that there's been no value left over in them. But if we could buy a truck and run it for 3 years and still have it worth $100,000 or something when we got done, we may be a lot farther ahead. But without knowing any of their numbers on what a new truck would be, what the projected value of it would be after the 3 years when we would roll it over.
is it not a lease?
Is it an actual lease, or do we buy it and then they buy it back?
It's a lease with a buyback,
A lease with a buyback.
guaranteed buyback.
Guaranteed buyback number, so it would be just be leasing it.
And I'm asking him right now where that information is that he was going to send over.
So if you're leasing it, there's no buyback because you don't own it. Because you're leasing it. It's different than ownership.
Yeah,
That's the confusing part.
yeah.
Are they offering you we'll buy out your truck?
No, I think
Sign up for a lease for a new one? Because that's different
I think
than
what that
a site.
boils down to is they're telling you they'll guarantee you X amount of money for that truck toward the next truck. Like if you lease a vehicle and then you go to get your next one, they'll say, all right, this vehicle's worth so much.
They call it a lease, but they allow you to build equity in it. So I'm not sure all the particulars on it. We're about to find out.
Is it possible for us to just go down line by line with Jim on each of these ones and see if the year replacement needed that Damien had said sounds right still?
Sounds like a good starting point.
Frank, I think maybe they've got some momentum going. I think maybe after.
I got 2 questions.
Yeah, well, we'll decide that.
Right.
The chipper is good. It's practically rebuilt. Runs good.
Doesn't see a lot of wear, so we can push that one way out.
Now, what year would we guess for that thing? 'Cause we got to make a educated guess. Like 35, like 40,
I'd say it's good for another 20 years.
45. That sounds like what you're saying.
The loader's got a lot of hours on it. The loader's got a little over 6,000 hours.
34 is quite a while to.
Yeah, right now it's got the loader down for 32.
That's 8 more years.
What would you
Oh,
change
wait.
it to?
4.
So 4 years from now, so 30?
Yep, move that down to the
Oh,
chipper.
I did that wrong. Okay, loader. Was that loader he was talking about for 30? Okay, 30.
Grader, I'm not sure on the hours on that. I'd have to check. But it's in pretty good shape.
Yeah. I would think we need a pretty good distance. It needs to stay where it is, or at least push it out a little bit more if we could, because of the amount that's going to be. I mean,
So we need the
400
loader
pounds.
before the grader, is what we're saying? Maybe we could bump the grader to 32? Or something like that?
If the grader's at 33, isn't it?
It was at 30 right now. Yeah.
Another thing we have to keep in mind
I'm
too.
looking at the next page.
Oh, no wonder.
Yeah,
No
it's
wonder
all, it's
Everett
all
feels-
laid out. It's the second, it's this column right here. Yeah, that we're kind of
Good
looking
thing
at.
you're sitting between Mike and I, you're getting us on the right page. What was that, Reg?
If we get rid of our backhoe, we're gonna have to load sand with the excavator,
Right.
you know?
It's gonna increase the hours usage on that.
But we also, eventually, we're going to have everything in one hole, so the loader
Correct.
will be able to load the whole, everything for the whole town.
Yeah, it'll all be in one spot.
So that's,
Mhm.
we got a lot to accomplish. Oh boy.
That's why we're trying to figure this out. Yeah.
We'll have to go back to them.
Yeah, just don't. We
Oh,
can't
that's
forget
okay.
to do the assessor's report.
Okay.
We
well,
skipped over it
Okay.
before the town clerk, and I just don't want us to forget.
Okay.
Sorry to just
No,
put
no, no.
that in there.
Back to you, Jim. Any other numbers we got to adjust here?
The 1 ton's good for a few more years, as long as she holds it together.
Which one's
I
the
know
one
the
ton?
Cummins part will, I don't know
Pickup.
about the other part.
8 years.
So that was projected to last
27.
us for 1 to 2 more years, so if that's accurate, then it should be left alone.
Okay, so like 28 or so, yeah.
There's the backhoe. We're not gonna replace it because we're gonna get an excavator in its place.
That's what we're saying.
Yeah. So how soon do we want to try to get that excavator?
Sooner than later, because the excavator will make ditching work go so much faster and various other jobs.
We have so many things we got to get soon. That's the trouble. So we got to get that 2013, and then it looks like we're going to have the 2018 map. We're going to have to get a couple years after that. We also got to get the loader, and then we're going to have to get the grader, and that's all within like the next. Well, maybe not the grader, but all those other ones are within the next 5 years. Look back at this one here.
The rubber tired excavator is more important than replacing that 2013 Mack at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. In my opinion. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but
Because
we've got 2 other tandem dump trucks, that, you know, and
currently only 2 drivers.
correct.
So we bump the backhoe replacement to as soon as possible?
So if you look at this page, if we take off the truck here, then we put the excavator there.
That still just
Okay.
be in okay shape.
Okay, and then we
You know,
just,
not even be in great shape.
we're gonna
Talking
kind of
about
move
replacing
these
this one here
two
with the
things,
excavator.
maybe that way, and then put the truck in this column.
Yeah.
So then there'll be 140K in this column, and that will be like the pickup and the chipper. And maybe it won't be the chipper, maybe it'll just be the pickup and we'll push the chipper even further.
I would think that can's gonna get kicked down the road.
Okay, so we'll think 90K pickup, and then put the chipper maybe here. Does that make sense to you?
Into a nice 5-year sync. which
Yeah,
is-
that may even be able to go.
It
I
may,
mean, as often as that
Yeah.
thing
Push
gets
that
used.
back and just
Yeah.
spell on that.
Does that?
And now the new trucks
Can
are
you
way
kind of
more
share with the rest of us what this idea is?
So
So
the idea was taking on this page, so this is the page before this,
Yeah.
removing the dump truck from this first line and putting the excavator there at 200-ish, right?
Right.
And then we'll take the new truck, the 275, and put it here. push this over here and push this all the way over.
That's a better idea. That's what we have to do.
Yeah.
Figure out where to fit that in after.
Chipper, way at the end.
Way at the
Oh,
end.
the chipper, I'm just saying the
Yeah.
next dump truck, the 18 dump truck.
Yeah, and that may be, maybe we'll do a plan for a lease on that one, but
Right.
we'll do a plan for a purchase on the other, just for the purpose of timing.
And I just asked Craig to get us that information.
Okay. Do you want a photocopy? Does anyone want a photocopy of the page with my notes?
I mean,
Yes.
good.
I want
Good.
you.
I'm just gonna say, I like going over
You'll
this.
just send me one, please?
I like going over this as a group all together during the meeting because,
better.
yeah, we really can, then we can get Jim's feedback right here. I think that worked out. great.
Everybody knows exactly where we stand.
Yep.
Okay, so that, I think, that was what we needed to cover tonight on the equipment side. Again, I just I'm sorry. That was what we needed to cover on the equipment side. I do just want to highlight, this is a really important document for you guys to pay attention to because I'm going to keep bringing things to you. Like, a lot of your meetings coming up are going to be discussions around this topic, not equipment specific anymore, because we've sort of covered that tonight. They'll do another, VLCT is helping me a lot with that, and they'll put this together in another draft, which will come to you for further inspection and review, but we'll also be moving on to all of the other legs of
Like
this.
facilities and stuff.
Yes.
So you need your copy back.
No, we've got it digitally, right?
Right.
You sent it to us digitally. I'm
Everything
good.
is digital. Okay.
I'm good. Jim can keep that copy.
Okay. I didn't mean to give it away then.
Oh, no.
That's how important it was.
It's important.
Is everyone comfortable with this part?
Yes, for tonight, and we'll just keep growing. Thank you. Frank?
The lease company would have a contract, it's a boilerplate contract. They can send you a blank one, and Julie can review that to see how everything would fit and where you can move stuff around and lease this or not, probably. They'll send them out all the time, and just scratch out sample.
Okay. Now, the next part of your story, Julie, is
The next part is the grant request for reimbursement, which is ready to be signed. I tried, Mike, to line everything up in order for you. So this is just, I didn't know if you wanted to sign it or if you wanted me to sign it, but this is the grants and aid request for reimbursement. So the project is done, and I'm just ready to send in our request to get our money.
okay. I think that you can sign that.
Okay.
I
I just wanted to make sure everyone had an opportunity.
Everybody
to-
happy with Julie signing that one?
Yeah, she often does the request for reimbursement.
Okay.
The next thing was the grant for the temporary lighting or the sign package or the rigid roadway equipment, which I sent all of that to you digitally. The conundrum here, right, is the rigid roadway equipment does include excavators, but we are not there yet with our capital planning to have the actual money to pay for the difference. And as far as this particular grant, I haven't seen anything go through that was more than $10,000.
Yeah, that wouldn't pay for that. That would not pay for much of that excavator.
So that was why I had originally, when I talked to you about this originally a couple of weeks ago, I said that the first two options I thought were more fitting for us, and those are the temporary lighting grant and the municipal sign package. I did go ahead and, if you look at, I did all of the work for you to be able to look at all of the possibilities for what I would send in for the grant, regardless of which option we took. So we just need to, I guess, tell me if you think that what the work I put in is good and which one you want to go with.
When would we have received that email?
Today, probably. I sent you the email probably 13 days ago on this, but not filled out this way. It was just my handwriting.
Is that what she just handed me?
No, I printed out, what I printed out and what I emailed you today was me doing the work for every single leg of this, regardless of which choice you made. What I sent you 13 days ago was just me doing the work for the temporary light grant part of
The email was 1:18 p.m. So if you're looking through your emails, that's the one.
So we were gonna move ahead with the light, or, with the grant for the sign, right? Didn't we talk about that a couple of meetings ago?
We talked, like, the last meeting we talked about it, and you all said that you wanted to see the grant agreement. So I sent it to you, and it was just the blank grant agreement, except for one page of it had my chicken scratch on it, and that was for the temporary lighting.
Okay.
This is it typed out, and I did, like I said, for any possible choice you want to make.
Okay.
So I do want to highlight I think that the light, the quote that Jim had brought, I think was around 25K, maybe slightly under, and this grant is a maximum probably of 10. It's fairly competitive. I don't think they're awarding a lot of these grants across the state.
So if we get it, we'd have to kick in about 15
Correct.
for the temporary lighting.
Mm-hmm. Whereas you would probably get, you'd get signs for not very much, if you did the sign package.
So if,
It's 6, it's listed on here, I think it's 6 posts and then a series of signs. 2 road work ahead, 2 be prepared to stop, 2 flagger ahead, 2 lighted slow stop paddles, and then 15 28-inch cones.
And the thing of it is too, that the temporary lights also need the sign package.
To be legal.
Everything, you have to have both. You have to have the sign package and the temporary stop lights.
so you have to approve both.
But we can't.
But we
get
can
both.
only apply for one grant, right?
Well, could we use the signs without the temporary lighting?
Yes, with flaggers.
Maybe it would make sense for us, and since that would be covered fully by the grant, just throwing this out there, to apply now for the sign package. And then once we look into what we've got in the budget for 2026, 27, we can see if we're gonna have enough to just buy the lights.
What's your thought on that, Julie?
I think the further you get into your budget next year, the more you'll know if you have capacity in one line to transfer it to another and then purchase equipment with it, which you have the right to do. Like, for example, if you don't do a paving project next year, but you have 130, I making that number up. It's what you had last year. It's probably what you have this year. And you're spending 30 of it.
Yep.
As a board, you can vote to transfer that money from this line item to this line item and then spend it how you want, right?
And we wouldn't
Does that
even have to
make
use,
sense?
we could transfer some of that money. We could say, all right, we want to transfer 25,000 from the paving fund to equipment fund and buy signs, right?
Yeah, you wouldn't even need to transfer it to the equipment fund. I wouldn't even actually do that because then you get into the voter
Right.
designated funds. I would just say, we're transferring this to a line item to purchase this.
Okay. But that's an option, so.
So based on that information, if we go with what Jessica and you were suggesting, then we apply for the lighting, or the sign package now, and then work the other in our budget.
That would most likely cover the whole purchase.
And give us what the tools
Right.
that we're looking for.
I think you have a better shot of covering the whole purchase on that one. I don't know that you have a shot of getting any of these grants at all.
Right.
Because they're all,
But if
it's
we
a
were to
very
get-
limited pot. The only thing that I would recommend is just, let's ask Jim while he's here, like, how many of these road signs do we have / how many do we need? Like, if we have 0 need for 6 new sign stands and 2 new road work ahead and 2 new be prepared to stop and 2 flagger ahead symbol signs, If we have more than enough reflective cones, then we can shake a stick at, and we already have lighted paddles,
Yeah, then we wouldn't need those.
let's not bother with this.
What do we have for signs, Jim?
Too short on the men working. I'm too short on the men working signs. One got ran over and somebody stole one.
Okay.
And we don't have lighted paddles.
Do we have any that say flagger ahead or not?
Yes.
We have those.
And prepared to stop?
Yes. And we have the one lane ahead.
Okay. Well, that just made it more difficult.
It did,
But it's a good
but that's a
conversation.
question we want.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Well, in that case, maybe then we apply to help pay for the lighting, and then we just buy those extra signs we need out of our budget. I don't know. That does
Yeah, I
make
think
more
it sounds like we have, the amount of signs we need to buy would not be very much. But if we could get a good chunk toward a lighting package, that would relieve two people. That's the two red lights would take away two people, so. That
and
would
as
be.
far as how you wrote it up, Julie, I think it looks great how you wrote it up.
Oh.
So now we're down. We want signs or we want to go for the lights? See what we can get for the lights.
My suggestion based on this conversation would be go for the lights.
I would agree with that.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's make a motion that we go toward lights.
All right. I'll move that we apply for, what's the name of this grant?
The temporary lighting grant program.
Temporary lighting grant program. Okay, great. That's nice and easy.
I'll second that.
The
Right.
one that was stolen, your insurance company may cover that, is that?
Right. We're not buying them. We're going for the other one anyways. Temporary light grant program. Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you very much for doing all that work, Julie. And anything else? Nothing.
Two more.
There's
2
more.
times 10. No. Very easy. FYI, I will be taking time off for the week of July 13th, returning on the 20th, so I will be out of the office for that week. And then I'll be crazy busy because we will be hopefully printing tax bills and setting tax rates, and everything will be insane for a hot minute. And then the other thing on here, you can count as a distribution unless there's any questions, but I gave you the wastewater levy calculations, and I gave you the several years worth so you can see where we land, because I know Jessica does like that.
I always do like that. Thank you so much.
Great.
I got a question for Julie.
One more. Okay.
The week that you're gone, that would be that Thursday the office would be closed then? Because you typically are here on Thursday.
I think Deb might be here in the morning, but I won't be here in the afternoon, and I'm not entirely sure of that. I don't want to speak for her, but she has been working Thursday morning.
All right, thank you. Easy one.
Okay.
So we gotta backtrack to the assessors.
Right.
Yes.
Please do.
Okay. I sent everybody also in my slurry of emails I forwarded this evening before the meeting. That was one of them. So
That one
there
had
was
a lot of attachments.
Yes. So from Lisa, this was originally sent Monday. They were having some email issues, but so they lodged the preliminary grand list with the town clerk on Monday the 22nd, sent out change of assessment notices and current use allegation notices. They have posted the documents attached to the email, which you all have, to the town website. And the documents on information about the reappraisal should explain the process they have followed in the grievance process. Grievances will start on July 6th, held through the July 9th. Bear in mind that the 411 summary of the grand list is before grievances, so nothing is finalized until all appeals have been heard and responded to accordingly. Last year, the grand list total was $202,833,136 for all real property before exemptions. This year's corresponding total is $361,115,986, which represents an increase of $158,232,850, or an increase of 78% from last year's grand list total. So, FYI, to everybody, that is what came from the assessor's office, and anybody that is curious,
Tax rate's gonna go down a lot, isn't it?
so anyhow, that's all on there. So there's like questions about assessments, how to use hearings most effectively, things like that.
Yeah, and I noticed it also mentioned in there, like, what kinds of things you can use as reasons for your grievance. Like, what are the best things to use if you are going to do a grievance?
Yeah, so I think
use this, you don't use that.
And I think that everybody just needs to be mindful because it's June 23rd, in July, this deadline is coming up. So everybody should just be aware.
Yeah, that's coming up really fast.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead, Julie.
One other thing that I want to highlight for people is that this is your opportunity to grieve, full stop. If you get your tax bill and you don't like it then, too bad, too sad. You do not get to grieve the amount of taxes that you pay. You are required to grieve your assessed value within the period that is laid out on the assessor card and information that you are going to be getting in the mail, like this week. So if you don't like your assessed value and how that may or may not impact your taxes, this is your opportunity to speak now or forever hold your peace. The other thing I want to point out is July 1st is usually when education tax rates are set. So we will get an education tax rate for the town. We will need to then reapply for a new CLA through the state to get a recalculation of our education tax rate based on the new appraised grand
Common
list.
level of appraisement.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
That was a lot, but I just feel like it's important because it is it's a swift turnaround with the mail.
Yeah.
So it's like if people, I just feel like fair and respectful that like this is your time, but you don't have a lot of time.
Right.
So be, intentional about the time that you'd like to use. And that was all that I had from the assessor's office. I just wanted to make sure we talked about that.
If, I do have a question, Chair. If the assessors have more people than 3 days a lot, are they prepared to extend that? Does anyone know? That's a yes. Thank you.
Okay. Phew. Anything else regarding the assessor story? No. Okay.
I do want to clarify on that. They're prepared to extend the time if you have timely put in a request and they don't have allotted time to fill your request. But if you want to come in the 15th hour at a 12-hour cutoff, no.
No, that's right. No, you guys still file very properly.
Right?
So the requests, they'll start taking requests as of July 6th, not before.
Those are the dates.
July 6th is the start of the game, and then that's when they receive them. And then
Deadline to file grievance is July 6th.
Deadline to file. So somebody
Deadline
has to
to
file
file a
before.
grievance.
So someone has to file before July 6th
The deadline is July 6th.
to file.
Yes. If you don't file by July 6th,
You gotta wait a
not
year.
met the deadline.
So we're good on everything, right? Okay. Emergency Management Director,
Nothing this week.
What was that that Bob sent?
there was some.
Oh,
An email
okay.
at 5 o'clock that I haven't read.
So something else I forwarded to you all this evening. Due to
That'd be
recent
good.
changes at FEMA, the Rutland Regional Planning Commission believes there is a need to strengthen regional recovery networks to improve preparedness and coordination following natural disasters. To support this effort, Rutland Regional Planning Commission has developed a framework that divides the county into 6 regional groups of towns to enhance communication, collaboration, and pre-disaster planning. Several have already met, and the discussions have proven valuable in identifying ways neighboring municipalities can support one another during emergencies and disaster recovery operations. The regional groups are shown below. Pawlet has been assigned to the Southwest group along with Danby and Mount Tabor. A discussion meeting for the Southwest group has been scheduled for July 30th at the Pawlet Firehouse at 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Lunch will be provided. Selectboard is invited to attend, and participation by any board members would be greatly appreciated as their input will help guide the discussion and strengthen regional preparedness efforts. Please let me know if any of you can attend. So I sent that to all of you. So if you can, RSVP to Bob.
Okay.
Nat, thank you.
Health
for
officer?
reminding me. Nothing.
Just the culvert, which is not health related.
Correct.
Facilities?
Yes. So, our front porch, we're trying to get a date. That's why I'm asking these hours. And I think our July 9th, just change that. Will and I have corresponded today, and then we talked on the phone. He was wanting to come the week of 4th of July, but we're having that big event here in the green on the 5th. And I says, I don't think Saturday and Sunday would be the time to start the building. So, even though it would be halfway through. So he's preliminary put in July 9th and 10th, but now I'm concerned because they're going to do the grievance probably in this room right here. They're going to still need that door to be used, correct?
Ideally, that door could be used, but we can also funnel people in through Deb's office. Don't forget that option if we need to go that way.
So-
I mean, it would be kind of inconvenient if we have a lot of grievances. And we might have a lot.
I think we're gonna, that's why I asked the question about extension, but if he can start on left or right on one of those days,
Yeah, that's
on the
kind of
night.
what I was.
But if the grievances went into the 10th, then he would start and then might have to stop. I will talk with him, but right now preliminary, he's for the 9th to do the front porch. And I spoke with Lux Brush today, and the young lady told me that we're on the dance card for middle of July to the end of July for the painting of both buildings and the decking. Because I told her we were going to sign the check approval for the other deposit for the deck that we've approved tonight and signed for that Julia sent out. And then that way, when they come, they'll try to tie us all in with everything, and we're just trying to coordinate it to where it ties in with Will being here. As soon as he gets the deck down on the front, they're here to stain it, so there's not a lot of traffic on it in between it, so it's as fresh as it can be. So preliminary, Will is the 9th. So
Sounds good.
I'll
Thank
send
you.
an email if it changes. Thank you.
Anything else for
Facilities.
facilities?
Did you see the email from Jim about the roof at the highway building?
All right, I forgot about that.
I think I forwarded, that was like 2 weeks ago.
To me?
I forwarded it to everybody, I believe. Jim sent
Sorry,
along
Jim. I did not
some
see it.
images.
That's all right.
I think I sent, yeah. Oh, I didn't send it. Don't say sorry. I am so sorry. I'll send it to you
I'll
now.
still take ownership. It's my job.
I'll send it to everybody, but the highway building is not in great shape.
That's why we're building.
What
That's
this
why we're
is-
gonna build a new one.
This is good to know because I was looking for some spare time to do something else.
Perfect.
Yeah, I bet.
I'm forwarding that to you. If maybe you
I'll be
guys
in touch.
want to figure out a time to
I'll
take
read
a
the
look at
email and then touch base with you then. Thank you.
that. Sorry for not sending that sooner.
Okay.
Anything on that else under facilities? Wastewater treatment, we're having some issues with the, oh, excuse me,
Sorry.
facilities.
Tom, I gave you an email there that I printed off from Michelle Butler for 4-H. So the Oxbow 4-H Club is willing to work on that monument that you received the complaint on. They just want to know if they can use bleach, if that's acceptable.
So I was gonna bring this up under unfinished business.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
I don't mind doing it right now.
Let's just go.
So the email that she's, or the letter that she said left here is the bleach using Clorox on the monuments. I have no clue whether that's good, bad, or indifferent. I would suggest we don't do that until we talk to somebody that has knowledge of monument. And
Talk to the Historical Society. They've been cleaning the cemeteries.
Gravestones?
Is it, so Rose would be a good one to ask? Then I will, or Judy. You,
You'll talk to Judy, okay.
because I did look at that monument over in West Palm. There's green all the way around it. I don't know where the stones are that they
Somebody
express.
swept it up, I believe. It looks like that got swept up around there.
But definitely somebody's maintaining that grass, mowing that grass, and which is doing a nice job. But I think
But it
it's
used to have
great.
flowers.
Huh?
Used to have flowers.
I did say flowers because that's what Patsy used to plant there for years. She used to have red flowers there. You couldn't miss them.
Right.
But yeah, so if you can verify that, then we'd be good. And I think it's great that the actual 4-H is willing to do that. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you for reaching out.
Appreciate your help on that.
Anything else under facilities? Wastewater, a pump station in Spruce Gum, one of the pumps is acting up, but we do have electrician trying to work on the issue. He's got parts ordered for the second pump to get the control system back in line. So that's in process. And that's all we have to report right now. Meadowy School Board?
I do have one.
All right.
How much of your time can I suck up tonight? At our regular meeting on June 8th at the Meadowy Community School, the board had a discussion regarding projected deficit spending for fiscal year 27 budget due to an unexpected increase in Granville's tuition rate. The board approved revised personnel benefits and several revised policies, as well as monitoring 2 board policies, board job description, and agenda planning. There was also a discussion regarding the newly passed and signed Act 170. This act is a follow-up to last year's Act 73, and it creates cooperative education service area boards. These are not governance boards and are focused on providing shared services, including 1, special education, 2, IT/business services, 3, union district creation and consolidation facilitation. This act requires every school board to participate in a merger study committee to determine the advisability of forming a new unified union school district. The timeline for this process is very aggressive. By September 26, merger committees will be formed with final reports due by September 27. Proposed mergers voted on town meeting in 28, and a new foundation formula which will replace the current education finance system will begin in fiscal year 30. Our next regular meeting will be August 10th at 6:30 at the Meadowy Community School. As always, we welcome your public attendance and participation in our meetings. Thank you for your support. And I do just want to highlight that we anticipate a flyer or something going out to the school communities and probably being published in the media, just sort of explaining all of what's in this act, because it's a lot of stuff that's going to be happening in a very short amount of time. So we're trying to get the information out to our community.
Thank you. Anything from the public library? Okay. Older unfinished MRF.
All right, so this should be easy. Regional Planning Commission, because we decided that, the board decided that we wanted to go with just the heating and cooling and not with any of the envelope stuff because that would be too expensive. The Regional Planning Commission got together with the Buildings and General Services, which is who's doing the grant, and they updated the grant, which I sent around to you, and you can see mostly they just crossed out, these are the 2 pages, they mostly crossed out all the stuff about everything that wasn't heating and cooling, and left in the heating and cooling. So I had signed the previous one. I'm just asking for the board's permission for me to sign this amendment.
I make that motion that we accept the amendment.
Second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
All right. I'll get
Thank
that
you
done.
very much.
Thanks
No
again
problem.
for doing all that.
Yeah.
They would have
Any
saved a
other
lot of
old or
ink.
unfinished business? Any new business? Public
Yes.
comment? What?
Well, maybe this should have been under facility. It looks like we're gonna have to relook at our tanks. Both of them.
Okay,
So,
well, well, one of the things we need to check it to see if we're in danger of them leaking, or if it's just kind of the beginning, the start of it, because we have a geothermal system. We may be able to come up with smaller tanks, or maybe we'll come up with a different option.
Cause they tagged them not to fill.
Right.
So,
But we won't need them until hopefully October. So
Okay.
we have a little bit of time to, as long as they don't appear that they're going to leak.
they'll have to come over with
So
the
we
whole
got
thing
two
to sell it.
tanks. Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay.
2 tanks are in that building.
That's what they said. Huh?
275s or
Oh,
For
I
the
don't,
for the fuel oil.
I
are
would
they
say,
275?
I don't know. It doesn't say on
It
here.
doesn't say the.
So if it does,
capacity.
I don't see where.
Let me make a note about this because I can bring it up at our next meeting and ask them if they think we're gonna, as we move to geothermal, I mean, obviously we are still gonna keep the boilers, but
Right.
if we might not need both of the tanks.
That would be great.
Then
That'd be
we would
great,
just
too.
need one tank and then we'd only have, yeah,
And
I'll bring that up.
In the meantime, when I come over to look at the town highway, I'll swing in the library. Is the library open tomorrow? Does anyone know what their hours are?
Yeah.
10 o'clock, doesn't it?
Yeah. They're open late on Wednesdays. That's a new thing, so I think it's 10 till 7.
Okay.
Am I right?
I'll take a
I
look.
think it's 10 till 7
All right.
on Wednesdays.
Thank you. I can't keep track of these hours.
No?
Sunrise to sunset, this works. Just give me a key.
You should have a key.
I probably do, Frank, but I don't use them. Because I don't want to lose them. Thank you, Mike.
Anything else?
No, I'll stop.
Public comment?
Yeah, I got a couple things we skipped by. Planning
Frank,
Commission.
you're gonna have to reach. You can't rely on everybody to lug it to you every time. You gotta meet them
The
halfway.
Planning Commission did have a meeting, and one of the issues
We'll put them in our.
was, it's on land use and also personnel, and we're wondering what's Nancy's final date, and what are we doing about that? Are we having an interim
We're looking for a
ZA?
new, we have an ad out for a new zoning administrator, and we also have one application already.
Are we able to do an interim zoning administrator in the meantime?
We'll pull it all together.
Okay, that's one. The other thing is that I attended three, the only one I could tell that attended April 16th, May 21st, and June 18th, 3 Rutland Regional Planning Commissions on municipal planning, plan implementation, and land use regulations. The land use regulations covered the zoning administrator and also DRB. And so those were videoed. There will be a posted YouTube video on all three, but whoever's coming in to do zoning administration work would want to review all three of those, because there was some new stuff on all three of them. And so that's something that I'm not going to review, because whoever might be doing that would just watch it themselves. The other thing is I attended the wetland, Southern Vermont wetland process, and held in Arlington the other day, last week. And it's an ongoing process. Wetlands pop up. Beaver dams create wetlands that don't go away. So if anybody has beaver dam growth, and they want to nip it in the bud, they better get it nipped in the bud before it becomes permanent wetland on the mapping. The general public basically was concerned about the fact that wetlands were not on all mapping, and they were complaining about that. and really wanted to have it clear and obvious where wetlands were before they buy something or get into a project, where they're into the project and spending money, and all of a sudden they learn they can't do it because of the wetland. So this is their wetland process with the state is all GIS. We can interface our mapping, which is GIS, through Rutland Regional for our zoning maps, etc., with the wetland overlays. And so we will be covering that with Nick at the next meeting of the rail trail, because he does that, and reporting back to see if the select board needs to request that our maps be kept up to date for wetlands, just for helping the public out understanding things. That's it.
Thank you. Anybody? Julie?
I didn't feel like I really got much of an answer or consensus when I was talking about the School Street intersection, and I don't know if it's just because you don't want to do anything until a study is done, but those concrete barriers make that whole intersection less safe. Full stop, writ large. They make it so you have no space to divert off of the road if there's traffic coming around the corner and they're not willing to stop for you. Or if you're not willing to back up for oncoming traffic, they're forced to back into Route 30. It's not safe. It's a terrible practice, and I think that those should be immediately removed, and I think that you should take action to do that tonight. And the other thing that I want to highlight is that I really want all 5 of you up there to understand, I am scared shitless coming to work and leaving work.
Yep.
That intersection needs something. Full stop. I don't care that we're in a capitalist society and we want to protect businesses. That's fine. I'm scared out of my mind coming here every day, and I need you all to hear that.
When did we put that block up there to keep
Well,
people from parking there?
We will, I want to respond to Julie's comment. I agree, I understand your situation, but what we ran into before is people would half-ass pull in where those concrete blocks are, and they would actually block the entire street. If you put a full-size vehicle where those concrete blocks are, it sticks out about 3 or 4 feet into the road. And I've been up through there where I could not go. I had to sit and wait for somebody to come out of the store that went in to get their lunch to move, because somebody pulled up in front of Max and somebody parked in that pull-off, and I could not get my vehicle through there. I have sat there and waited. So we had a meeting and we decided to put the concrete blocks there to keep that from blocking the highway. So that's not solving the problem. The problem is the parking across the street. It needs to be at an angle. If people just launch in there however they do. And then also, we had an agreement with the owner up there that no one would park in front of the pizza place. And people are constantly parking in front of the pizza place. And it's not just, if it was an emergency delivery or something like that, it's one thing. It's actually locals. I won't mention names, but it's locals pull right up on the checkered lines where we agreed not to have anyone park, and they go in and have their morning BS session. So it all needs to be revisited. So if a study is done up there, perhaps this will, come.
There's been so much change in there's just been so much change always. But where it was last left, and maybe my memory's not right, so please correct me, but it was last left that those blocks were put there because people were parking there, but there were supposed to be lines painted. That was an agreement, a mutual agreement that was made. There were supposed to be lines painted indicating where people should park.
Yeah, Gib had brought in like his diagram of where the lines were going to be painted.
And there's obviously, it's a very deep, there's also supposed to be expanded parking options for that building. So I think that somewhere the ball was dropped. I'm not sure where, but the ball was dropped somewhere where those lines were never parked. I'm not sure if that was supposed to be something that, I think that was back in Dale's reign of highway. And maybe he was supposed to be part of it and wasn't. I don't know if maybe anybody remembers that more clearly, but I think obviously, yeah. So that is something though, I know that could be an action item because it is a scary intersection, and unfortunately geographically it's just, you can't move the building, but there are things that have been discussed that the board and the business owner had agreed to do together that have not been done.
And the state isn't investing anything in there. They can't even fix the sinkhole that's in the middle of the intersection for the last 10
Perhaps
years.
that could be an action item.
It's been there like 10
To
years.
follow
The
up
state
on
actually did do something there. The deal was Gibb was gonna paint, parking
Lines.
spots. And then we actually went and met with Patrick, and there was another guy. And they did come and they painted the stop bar, they painted all those no parking lines, and then they painted the no parking up by McChesney's. And I don't pay attention, but I'm assuming that all that's still getting parked on, would be my guess.
Yes.
McChesney's have
McChesney's is not
actually
so
moved
much.
back
Okay.
They park
onto the
on the
lawn.
They created a
off
little
from.
parking
They used to park
space.
right out on literally on the white line, but they have parked off the road. But it still blocks your visibility up the hill if you're trying to see to get out. And if you can't see to the left or the right, you're just hoping for the best.
Is the line still visible?
Yes. They just repainted them.
So by having our constable patrolling that, he would be able to reinforce because the lines are still visible. So,
And I think it would make sense to address this with Gibb as well. And let him know that it's a continued issue and we need to do something about it. So I can reach out to him if that's what the board would like.
I think that would be great if he would be willing to do that.
So I know at one point he mentioned that he was all set up to paint the lines, and it just never happened.
Yeah, I think that he probably still has those drawings with the lines. I remember that they were parallel parking. There was the parallel parking in the part where it was narrowest, and then it was the diagonal where there was more space. And one was going to be a diagonal small car only, no big pickup in that diagonal spot.
Which I'm sure will be so effective.
If that block was removed and like it was topsoiled and grass, do you think that would defer people from wanting to park there, or?
Maybe if it was elevated, if we could.
Like a curb or something?
Yeah.
Well, what
So
Julie
that
is
it
saying
was-
is it's a place to get out of
An
someone's way.
escape,
That's
an escape route.
Yeah.
So even if you grass it, it's gonna,
I mean, my
somebody's
thought
just
is
gonna
just
launch
keep
it
it
out on the
obviously
lawn.
painted and signed as no parking, and then give Tom, after we talk to give Tom the okay to ticket somebody if they're there. I mean, once you get ticketed somewhere, it sticks in your head and you don't park there.
yeah,
Unless you're made of money.
if we're not enforcing what was already laid out, then we really
Yeah.
have given that a short change. It's not working.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, it's not working.
If those parking spots on this side of that parking lot were orderly, where the last car had to park long ways instead of sticking out, that would make that better also. Go ahead, Julie.
Regarding the barriers, I understand the problem with people just deciding to park there even though it says no parking. But the problem came when Tom ticketed people that parked there, and the business owner did not like that because that was not good for his business. So that was where the request for those barriers came in. It was not about public safety at all, ever. And that's my issue. If you really care about public safety, then that is the spot to ditch it off the road, so that people don't have to back either down this road or into Route 30. It's not helpful to just put blockades up to prevent people from getting no parking tickets when they park illegally. And it doesn't make anything safer. And not having a stripe down this road or any indication to people that are not from here that they're parking in the middle of a road doesn't help. And the last thing I want to highlight that I did say already, and maybe I'm beating a dead horse, but please look into the liability that you will face if there is something catastrophic that happens there. Because I can promise you, if it is something that happens to me, you will be facing some liability.
We've already dealt with this. Between Gibb and the town, there's 2 lanes of road there, and we don't own 2 lanes up through there. And he doesn't own where the cars are parking, so this is something above our pay grade to figure out.
One last
Frank?
closing thing. I've talked to some elderly folks in town, me being elderly now, but they're still elderly in the same class and older. And they don't use this road at all to even go to the library because they know they're going to have to come back up onto Route 30 and they're going to have to get down it. So this is actually a huge problem. I think if you polled everybody in town, everybody in the town would agree that it is maybe one of the #1 road problems that exist, and everybody would like to see it fixed. The question is how to do it.
So Rich is gonna, so the next step is Rich is gonna talk to Gibb about like
The lines.
the
that
lines.
we-
Line.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the state did follow through with what they agreed to do.
Mhm. Yeah.
So. And Gibb was, he agreed to it.
Yeah.
I think he just hasn't done it, so. No more
Any-
public.
Anything else under public comment tonight?
Frank, we're
Frank,
two
you're
Frank,
minutes.
gonna have to
You
go
saved
get
it
the
till next
microphone
week.
yourself instead of
Respectfully,
everybody
it's
delivering
2
it.
minutes,
It's 9
and
o'clock.
we've really gone above and beyond the allocated time for tonight.
Beyond
so
9 o'clock.
Let's try to follow the
Yeah,
rules.
9 o'clock. Okay, we can
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.